Hi, everybody. Judy Tuttle here from Tuttle Up Stamping. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Midland, Texas, and I'm glad to have you here with me today. Thanks for joining me. I have a couple of beautiful cards today to stamp and design and create with you, and I know you're going to love them because they are gorgeous. Before we get started stamping, when you come on, let me know you're here. Say hi. We've connected people who live in the same area together before, and I love that about our stamping community. So thanks for coming on. I will be back tomorrow with two more cards for us, and then that will be all that is a part of this online card class to go for the week. Okay, so before we get started, I just want to talk to you about a couple of things. So we have an in color sale going on until the end of the month. This is Cloud Cover, Darling Duckling, Secret Sea, Strawberry Slush, and Timid Tiger. Anything that has those colors in it will be on sale, okay? 15% off. So, hi, Tian. Thanks for joining me today. So, if you go to the online store, the Tuttle Up shop, and you see, hi, Marianne. Thank you so much. I'm going to talk more about that in just a second, but I so appreciate you. Thank you. Anything with one of these in colors in it is currently marked down 15% off if it's still available. Okay, so I mean, I stocked up on some in color paper and re-inkers and ribbon because I know I'm going to be using these colors for at least 16 more months, 18 more months probably, right? Okay, so let's put that graphic down. Now, I'm going to tell you about my Charming Day class that we have going on right now. But if you're looking for an easy peasy class to get started, either to go or in person, I have a Charming Day simple card class coming up on September the 6th. This is not a product-based class. This is a 4-card, easy peasy class for those who just feel like they need to hit the easy button, okay? So the link to this class, the Easy Peasy Charming Day class, will be in the description after this video is over if you would like to get that. And you can get them both. You can get our ongoing card class to go for this week, and you can get the Easy Peasy class if you want to, right? There's no reason why you can't get both if you want them. And then just announced today is our next mega card class, Craft a Longer in person, and I will be using the Traditions of Christmas suite that is in the new holiday catalog. And you guys, this is stinking gorgeous. So I'm going to pull out my stuff here in just a second so that you can look at it. But for the Traditions of Christmas September mega card class craft along, you will make 10 cards, 10 Christmas cards using this suite, 2 each of 5 designs. You're going to get a pack of the DSP, a full roll of the ribbon, and a full package of the embellishments. So I'm going to pull this slide off, and I'm going to whip it around to my hands here. This is our new holiday catalog, and the Traditions of Christmas suite are what you see right here on the front cover. How beautiful is that? That ribbon, that paper is gorgeous. It has golds and Secret Sea in it and some awesome labels. I'm going to show you all that in just a second. I am not allowed to open the catalog yet. But if you would like to get your hands on a catalog and you don't believe you'll be getting them from another demonstrator, or you're not a demonstrator yourself, let me know and I would love to get one in your hands. Okay, so I want to show you this suite so that you can see how beautiful it is. Okay, so let's start with the designer series paper. This paper, can you see the gold in it is just gorgeous. So all of one side are poinsettia patterns that have gold inlays in them. It is just really pretty. I hope that you can see that. And that, hey, Brenda, the back side is just some basic, beautiful prints that you can mix and match. So you can put them together on a card, but only one side has the gold on it. Okay, so this is the first piece. Here's the second, and one of the awesome things is one of our die sets for this suite actually will cut out this bouquet of flowers that it's on this page. And again, look at all that gold. I think this really is the star of the holiday catalog show. It really is just stinking gorgeous. And then the back side of that page is a stripe, a beautiful old olive stripe. Then this page, another set of poinsettias that are a little smaller and more closely together. Again, you can see the gold in there, so pretty. And then the back side is this real red polka dot pattern. And then here's another one. And actually this one, this spray, can be cut out with one of the dies in the die sets as well. Again, look at those gorgeous colors in that. I love the little bit of pool party. I think that's flirty flamingo, real red, old olive, just stinking gorgeous. I love this paper too, Brenda. I might become a paper hoarder with this paper. Look at this solid red with the gold. Stunning, right? Do you agree? And then here's one that has some of that secret sea in the background. It's just so pretty. The back side of this is a fun plaid. And I think I forgot to show you the back side of these other two. Here, let me pull that in. So the back side of this one is a secret sea stripe. And then the back side of this red is an old olive plaid, right? So beautiful paper, can't go wrong. So if you take the Traditions of Christmas class, you make 10 cards and you get a half a pack of this. I'm going to flip it over. Gorgeous Traditions of Christmas paper. You get a half a pack of that. This is an expensive one because anytime you got gold in it, it's $16.50. So you're getting half the pack of that. You're getting a full roll of this satin ribbon. I want you guys to see, I don't know if you can tell, there is a slight bit of gold on the edge. It's very subtle. It's very shimmery. This is a gorgeous ribbon. You'll get a full roll of that. You will get a full pack of these glittered sequins. Traditional sparkling sequins is what it's called. So fun. I love those. You'll get a whole pack of those. And then I just want to show you other things that come in this suite. There's an option where you can buy the suite in the registration for the class. And this is a beautiful wreath embossing folder. Look how gorgeous that is. Isn't that stinking gorgeous? So pretty. And then the two bundles that are a part of this suite are this one called Traditional Labels. And look at all these labels you get. You get 7 labels in this set that all coordinate with the images that are in the sentiment set. And look how this fits right around those words. They have curved them to fit the words. Isn't that pretty? Maybe I have that upside down. Let's see. Yep. There we go. There we go. That shows it a little bit better, right? A season's greetings. So fun. This beautiful Merry Christmas and Just for You. They all are made to coordinate with these beautiful new dies. They are gorgeous, right? Marianne, they're like so pretty. And then the second stamp set and die set, look at these dies. So remember when I said you had dies that coordinated with the DSP? That is this one right here. Not only does it coordinate with this stamped image, which again I have upside down. There we go. So you can stamp and color your image and cut it out, or you can cut it out of the DSP. You get a bow, you get some holly and berries. There are endless possibilities. Look at that pine bough. Look at that leaf. So gorgeous. We're going to make you some gorgeous cards with this set. So if you would like to get the Traditions of Christmas next craft along, which will be at the end of September, you get a half a pack of the paper, a full roll of the ribbon, and what happened to those gorgeous embellishments? Here they are right here, a full package of embellishments and everything to make 10 cards. Okay, so that is the next Christmas card class coming up at the end of September as part of my Christmas series. Okay, hi Sharon, thank you so much for your encouragement. You are so sweet. I just love that we've gotten connected through Stampin' Up. I feel that way about all of you. So, okay, so I'm going to put this aside. This week's online card class to go is going to be a product-based card class. Now, this is a step up from that easy peasy one that I told you about earlier. In this one, if you would like to get a kit this week, again, you're going to get a full roll of this petal pink braided trim. You're going to get a full package of the Charming Shimmer Faceted Dots, and you're going to get a half a pack of this gorgeous DSP. This is for this week's class. It is a product-based class for this week, okay? So again, I think I showed you these last week. So beautiful. The Easy Peasy class does not include the product, okay? It's just an easy peasy card class. This week's class includes the product. Look at how pretty these are. Can't wait to show you these on our cards. You've got the blues, the petal pinks, the shaded spruce, timid tiger, petal pink, so pretty. And you get some petunia pop in there. Might need those. I'm going to pull those out. And look at this one. This may be my favorite. Isn't that gorgeous? Love it. And then I really do love this chrysanthemum page too. So pretty. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to do our first two cards for this week. And then you can decide if you want to get the product-based online card class to go for this week. Okay, so let me put this on the floor and get it out of the way from me here. All right, so two cards today. One is a regular card and one is a fun fold card. Let's start with the easier of the two. And on both cards today, this is all that I'm using for stamps. I'm using a thank you. This one says you made my day, the big flower, and the happy birthday. That's all I'm using on two cards today. So, okay, so here's our first card. I love it. I love all the detail. Love the gold leaves popping out from underneath the bough. I told you already, I love this paper that has the petal pink and timid tiger and petunia pop flowers in the background. It's so pretty. And I stamped that on the inside. So what do you guys think of that one? Let's make it together. Let's tuddle up and get it done, okay? All right. So let me grab my card pack. Why do I just throw things everywhere? I don't know. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to pull out on my cards. I am starting with a piece of cardstock in early espresso that is 5.5 by 8.5, scored down the middle at 4.25. Okay. And I have two pieces of Mossy Meadow. I want the larger of the two on the front. So this one is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. It's going to have a very small edge of the early espresso around the outside. Okay, so I'm going to grab my liquid glue here. And the reason I'm using liquid glue, you guys know, is because I want that wiggle room to be able to adjust this right where I want it. It's especially nice when you have a really tight edge to your card. Okay, so let me flip this over. This is Mossy Meadow on an early espresso card base. Okay, there we go. And then I have a panel of that DSP. Oh, why do I love this so much? I don't know. I love this paper. And this is cut 4 by 5.25. Okay, 4 by 5.25. Look, it has Mossy Meadow on the back too. So this is going to go right on top of that mossy meadow here. There we go. So pretty. Okay, and then I have a piece of that Timid Tiger paper, and this is cut 2 inches by 4 inches, and it's going to go right here, right on top of that DSP, right like that. Okay, kind of off to this side. Right like that. Maybe push it a little bit more over here. See, aren't you glad I have that liquid glue on it there? I can move it a little bit over before I decide that it is permanent. Okay, now I feel like I got a little crooked here. Let me try it one more time. Okay, there we go, right like that. Okay, next I have 2 pieces of those leaves that I've cut out of gold foil. Okay, so one of them is going to go up like this, and one of them is going to go kind of off to the side like this. That's how I'm going to put them on there. So I just need to add just a few dots of liquid glue to some of these leaves. Don't need to go overboard on it. And this one is going to pop up right like that. And this one is going to kind of go sideways below. Just adding a little touch of glue to each of these. Sorry, I'm off camera, aren't I? Little touch of glue to each of these little leaves, not overdoing it, just enough to hold them in place. And this is going to go right like that. Okay, so this ribbon, this trim is braided and it's got a lot of texture to it. It's stinking gorgeous. It is petal pink. Okay, so what I did with this, and I'll just go ahead and do it again, is I just cut a piece off and then I pulled it apart like this at the top. Something I learned from my cross stitching days, right? So I'm just going to pull the top apart. And then all you have to do is grab one of the braid sections and pull it straight out like this. And then you get just some pieces of that twine that made up that braid. Okay. I'm going to take this and tie it in a bow, a Judy bow. I saw that Stampin' Up! Issued a video on how to tie a bow, and honestly, I think my way's easier. So, I don't know. You guys tell me. So, there's my bow right there. But you know what? I lied. I'm not actually tying a bow. I'm doing a faux bow on this one. So, I am just going to loop-de-loop like this. I actually want those end pieces to be a little smaller. So, I'm loop-de-looping. And I'm going to put it on right here in the center of those gold leaves. And I'm going to grab a piece of tear and tape right in front of me here. And I'm just going to hold it in place with some tear and tape. And then I'm going to adjust those loops and things in a second when my flowers get attached there. So let me pull this a little bit this way. Here we go, and I'm just putting a piece of tear and tape right there to hold it in place. Now I can pull these out, these loops apart, and make them be a little more not so smushed together. So it kind of looks like that. Okay? All right. Next, I have a small piece of white here. And on this panel, I think it's about a 4x4 panel, I'm going to grab my bouquet and my black ink. Memento Black. Okay, I need to move everything a little over, don't I? Okay. And this is going to get stamped right in my basic white panel right there. And I'm going to start coloring. So I have Mossy Meadow, Petal Pink, and Berry Burst as my colors. Okay, so let me move this over to the side. Let me get up here so you can see me color a little bit. And my leaves are all going to be Mossy Meadow. So I'm just going to outline each of them. With my bullet point on my blends. I love Stampin' Blends. I love the way the colors blend together, how you can layer on colors of the same color, which is what I'm going to do today. So I'm just outlining each of these leaves to start with. That just gives me a little thicker edge so I don't go over the edge of my leaves when I'm coloring the inside. This is just the Judy method here. There are lots of professionals out there about blends, but this has always worked for me. How gorgeous is that flower? Okay, now I'm going to color it in with my brush tip. And I like to use a circular motion for this. I think it just tends to blend it all together a little bit better. I have an awesome fun fold to show you in just a second. I'd gotten a swap that I sent to a friend yesterday, and before I sent it away, I made sure that I wrote down the measurements so I could make it for you guys. Okay, so here we go. I'm doing the same thing. I'm starting with my light petal pink, outlining the edge. Could have used my bullet point for that as well. And I'm just coloring the whole flower in light. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Okay. Fill in with some dark, just kind of around the edges of each of those petals. Okay, there we go. Now, I want you to notice how in the designer series paper, hi Debbie, thanks for joining us. Do you see how the inside of each of these flowers has a little bit of berry burst on the inside of them? Okay, so I'm going to take my berry burst blend and I'm just going to kind of dot some dots on the inside of those flowers. Okay, right like that. And then I might go back. All I pulled out was my light Mossy Meadow and just add a little bit more dimension on some of these leaves. You can do that. You can layer them up in the same color. You can add dark. Can you see how it adds dimension to that, even if you're using the same color? Yep. So here we go. So pretty. Okay, so here's my flower. I'm going to grab my die and I'm going to cut this out using my die right like that. Going to do this off camera here, and I might grab a piece of my Post-it note tape. Post-it note tape is not something Stampin' Up! Sells. I wish they did. But I get it on Amazon. If you just look up Post-it note tape, you will find it. Just one little swift back and forth there, and my bouquet pops out. And now I'm going to take dimensionals on the back of this, and this is going to set right there over that ribbon. So just some of those little loop-dees pop out. So school started in Midland today. So Miss Lucy went to the 4th grade. I just cannot even believe that. And little Lincoln went to kindergarten. And I got to see their little back to school pictures today. They're so cute. They are very excited to be back at school. They love school. So they love summer too, but they do love school. So this is going to go right on top, right like this. So pretty, right? Okay, and then I've cut a white banner out of the Stylish Shapes dies. This is the wider one. And so there's a skinnier one that's long and a wider one that's long. This is the wider one. And I'm going to grab that happy birthday and my Mossy Meadow ink pad. And I'm going to stamp it more towards the left than to the right. Beautiful. There we go. And this is going to get laid right here on my card front, but I'm going to cut this edge off a little bit right here. So let me grab my mini cutter. Go pretty close to the edge of that Y. There we go. And then this is going to get popped up right here on the side. Do you guys like that? So pretty. The inside is going to be very simple. Thank you. Hi, Patty. Thanks for joining me. It is so exciting. I agree, Debbie. They love school, so it's fun. Here we go. I don't know if that's what you're referring to or not, but there we go. So there's my happy birthday on my card, and then I'm going to grab those gems, put them on the floor here when I was showing you the product earlier. Let me grab my Take Your Pick tool here. And I am focusing on these Petunia Pop colored gems. Could have used any of them. Any of them would look good, but I really wanted it to pop off the page here. So putting one kind of right here. I'm going to put another one right up here. And now I'm going to fill in with some of the smaller ones where I want them. So maybe one down here. Let me see what I did on this card. Maybe that's all I used, those 3 right there. Okay, so that's the outside of our card. Now for the inside, very simple. I only did one thing on the inside. So I have my basic white panel cut 4 by 5 1/4. Let me clean off my flower here, get all that black off of it that I used for the front of the card. And I'm going to grab my Fairy Burst. And so this is a class that you can get in the mail, and you get half a pack of DSP, full roll of ribbon, full package of embellishments and everything to make 2 of each of the projects that we're making this week. So 8 cards. 2 are a little easy peasy and 2 are fun folds. Cute, huh? That's all I did on the inside. So the outside says happy birthday. My happy birthday is a little crookedy. Let's see if I can move it over just a little bit. Oh, okay. Let's try to put it back down a little bit straighter. There we go. Better. All right. So happy birthday. There's the front. How pretty is that? And look at all this dimension that's in it. It really is striking. And then this is the inside of the card. Okay. So that's card number 1 for this week. And like I said, your kit will provide you what you need to make 2 of each of these cards. Okay. All right. So let me put this one away. Grab my envelope here. And then our next card is a super cool fun fold that I got the idea from a swap card that I actually got in the mail a while back. And I used it for a friend yesterday, and I thought I need to write all those measurements down. So it'll all be in the full color PDF you get when you purchase this class, okay? So here is our fun fold. How pretty is that, right? Don't you love these colors? I love the pecan pie and the petunia pop with the crumb cake in there. It's very vintagey looking, right? And then it opens like this. And then there's another little card inside that opens like that. How cool is that? Isn't that pretty? And I don't know if you can tell, but this is embossed in the background there. So this is our fun fold card for today. So let's make it. So I took a piece of lots of pieces on this one, right? Because we got 2 cards into 1 card here. Okay, so hopefully, and I just realized I don't have my embossed panels, so I will have to cut us one of those. Let me pull out my piece of basic beige here in a second. Okay, so I'm going to take my basic beige panel and I'm going to cut it down to 5 1/4 by 4. Okay. And then I am going to emboss it with my textured, what is it called? The exposed brick is the embossing folder that I'm using. Okay. And I'm going to put it in my exposed brick embossing folder here. I'm going to take it off camera and run it through my machine over here. So this is a 3D embossing folder. So when you use a 3D embossing folder, you use plate number 1. You don't use plate number 2. Plate number 2 is when you have a regular embossing folder. So I'm going to put that away. But you do use plate number 4 on top. So I'm going to put my embossing folder with my piece of basic beige on the inside, and I'm going to run it over here through the machine. So Marianne pointed out at the beginning, I earned my 6th incentive trip with Stampin' Up! Last 6 years in a row. Yesterday, I hit the threshold needed to earn the trip, and I'm so excited about it. It is a cruise to Alaska. I'm sure I have talked to you guys about this. I earned it last night. So I'm so excited. I'm excited, but I tell you what, to be honest, I am super grateful to all of you who have bought my classes, watched my Facebook Lives, right? This doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens because you guys are loyal and shop with me and take my classes, and all of those things are what help me build the kind of community that I want to have in my Stampin' Up! Business. So that's what Tuddle Up means. It means coming together in community with creativity and passion. So there is that embossed piece on the inside there. Okay. Now, this piece, you're probably wondering, how did she do that? It was a 4¼ by 11 piece of pecan pie, and I cut off the front 2 3/4. Now, that 2 3/4 panel I'm going to use again. Okay, so I have that 2 3/4 panel right here. It's going to end up being that panel that's on the front. Okay, so here's that DSP. I cut it 2½ by 4, and it's going to go right here on this top front panel. Okay, let me get a little liquid glue on it. There we go. And I'm going to attach that right here to this front panel right there. Okay. Now I'm going to put that aside for just a second. I'm going to come back to that. I am going to take this panel that I cut off the front and start decorating it. Okay. So I'm going to start with a piece of basic beige again. So this panel is 2 3/4 by 4¼ So I cut a panel that is 2½ by 4 of basic beige, and it's going to go right in the center of that panel. Okay. So just so you know, my videos only last now for 30 days on Facebook, but I also post them, and it's also streaming right now to YouTube. So you can always see them on YouTube for as long as you want. So if you would like forever access to my videos, you need to just subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you'll always know where to find them. This one is called the Floral Day Suite, Floral Charm Suite. And okay, so this is a piece of that die set, and let me pull that one out so you can see it. It is this one right here, and I have cut it out of crumb cake cardstock. So pretty. Look at all the detail in that. I'm just talking away and not showing you the things I need to show. Isn't that gorgeous? Now, I tell you something I should have done before I glued all this down, but it's going to be okay because you are watching an expert in action. I hope. Every time I say something like that, I make a big blunder. So hopefully, oh, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Okay, so we're going to do that on the circle here in just a second. I was forgetting that. Okay, so this bloom here, I feel like I'm very scattered today. Thanks, Kim. Aloha. Thanks for joining me. I did a lot of talking at the beginning about what I'm doing right now. So you might need to go back and rewatch it. But today's class is the first 2 cards of an online class to go that includes product. And so there'll be a separate link in the description on how you can get this class if you want to. So I'm just adding some dimensionals in key places where they won't show on the front side. I feel like I'm losing my voice a little bit. I don't know what's going on there. I don't feel bad. Here we go. So I'm taking all of those off, and then this is going to get popped up right there. Okay. Now I'm going to take another piece of that braid, pull it out of the braided twine, right? It's, you guys, it almost feels like linen thread, but in petal pink color. It's really fun to work with. It gives a very rustic feel, a very vintagey feel. to the card. So this time I'm doing this in a bow, and I'm going to grab a glue dot and put it on the back. Let's try that one more time. Sometimes I pull it off without the glue dot. Okay, so there we are. And this is going to get put right here underneath that flower, right like that. Very pretty. Cut off these ends a little bit here so they're not quite so long. Okay, and then I have a circle here that I cut out of the Stylish Shapes dies, and it is 1 3/4 inch. This is all in the PDF that you get with this class. And aren't they beautiful? I know. See, I pulled them right out of the DSP here. Aren't those gorgeous? Basic beige, petunia pop, petal, pecan pie, crumb cake are all right in that paper. So it makes it very easy. Okay, so thanks for being you is what I'm going to stamp inside this circle. Whew, there we go. Thanks for being you. Do any of you get nervous when you stamp with red rubber that you might not get it in the right spot, or which leads to an announcement that we got today from Stampin' Up! That they are going to focus primarily on photopolymer from here on out. So the resources, the supply chain resources to get the red rubber have made it very difficult and expensive. And so they said they're going to start focusing on photopolymer. So there we go. Okay, there's that panel that's going to go on the front. But before I even finish that, I want to get some gems on this. And I'm going to go back to those petunia pop ones. Now, you could really even use the petal pink. That would be fine. What did I just do? I just pulled that off in a weird way. Okay, so you guys, I'm going to go back to my take your pick tool here. I'm going to have one right there. I'm going to have another large one. Let's see where. Up here. And then I'm going to fill in with some smaller ones. Have one right here. Have another one right here. And then one more down here. Let's see, where did I put it? I'm going to put it over here. And that gives me my 5. Okay, so I'm just going to set this aside for a second with that, okay? Because we got to do the inside card of this thing. This is a very fun fold, but it definitely has some layers to it. Okay, so next, let me pull out all my pieces here. I have a piece of petunia pop that is 3 inches by 9 inches, 3 inches by 9, scored at 4.5. Okay, so I just folded that in half like that. I have a piece of basic beige that is 2 1/4 by 3 3/4, and it's going to go on the inside of the top of this panel. I think I'm just going to use some seal on this. It's going to go right there like that. Now I cut a piece of DSP that is 2 inches by 3.5 inches, and it's going to go inside this. It's just going to create a little frame on the inside of this panel, this top panel. It's the little surprise that they will see when they open it up. Okay, then I have a piece of basic white DSP and a tiny little strip of, I said DSP, basic white. And the size of this is 3 1/4 by 2 3/4. Okay. And then I have a 1/2 inch piece of DSP. It's the opposite side of the DSP I used on the front. It has that Petunia Pop kind of whitewashed look to it. And it's going to go right here on the bottom edge of the inside white panel. And I'm going to stamp "You Made My Day." This card will make someone's day, won't it? They're going to be, it is incredible. Okay, so back to my red rubber here. "You made my day." There we go. And now this is going to go inside this inside card. I'm calling it the inside card. So I'm just going to add a little liquid glue here, and it's going to get attached right to the inside of the inside. The inside of the inside, right? Thank you. Thank you, Kim. Okay, and so now this panel, this inside card within a card, is going to get centered right here on top of this embossed piece, okay? So I'm going to add liquid glue to the back side. I'm sorry, I'm off camera. To the back side of this inside card. And I'm going to lay it here, and I'm going to make sure I get it centered kind of top and bottom, left and right. Okay, so I'm going to press that in, and I'll show you something I think is really cool about this card. Okay, so I'm pressing that in really good, and I'm going to fold this down now, and now this panel is going to get popped up here on top. But you know what I like? Don't you like how that Petunia Pop panel on the inside kind of edges the outside panel? It kind of almost looks like it is a book, you know, like another panel attached to this panel, which I kind of like. That adds to the surprise. Okay, you don't want glue anywhere except on the top part of this flap right here. So this is what I did. I took my dimensionals. Let me find my biggies. This is what I always kind of throw around here. And I'm going to put a couple of them at the top here. Top, 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 like that. And then I'm going to go to this panel, and I'm going to put two right on the edge right here. So I know that things are not going to get stuck to the inside of the card, right? That's always not fun when that happens. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to make sure that I have this kind of centered on the frame that's underneath it. I want it centered so that that Petunia Pop shows on all three edges. Okay, and then I'm just going to lay this down onto that top flap right there, like that. And since I know where I put the dimensionals on the flap, I know that they're not going to attach to the inside of my card. Okay, so here's the finished card. How pretty is this? And then it opens like this, whoop, and it opens again, whoop, like that, like a little card within a card. And like I said, I really love how that Petunia Pop just borders that pecan pie. Beautiful colors. Lots of dimension here on this card. So this is card number 2 for today. Here's our first card. Here is our, I'm sorry, I said that. That's our second card. And here is our first card. Whoop. So this week's class, you get all that product plus everything to make 2 each of our card designs. And we'll have 2 more cards for you for tomorrow. Okay. So if you would show me some love and some likes, thank you for all your comments today. And I so appreciate you being here. Please join me back here tomorrow at noon for the last of the 4 cards in our online card class to go this week. So thank you so much. God bless, and I'll see you back here tomorrow at noon. Bye-bye.